The historic stage of the Bolshoi Theatre. It's after midnight already, but the stage is being prepared for the next production. Right now, the stage is being prepared for the Tsar's bride. Specifically, the drapes and curtains are being put into place. They are fastened to battens with simple knots. Before the reconstruction, every new production on the historic stage of the Bolshoi Theatre was literally a challenge for directors, decorators, riggers, and lighting technicians. And it wasn't so much about creative ambitions and responsibility before the audience as about safety. How can you fit several tons of set pieces on a deck that's sagging under the feet of actors and dancers? But today, castles and ships are erected full size on the main national stage. "79 battens move metal constructions into their place in a few minutes. Each one is capable of carrying up to 1-ton load. Special lighting trusses allow for the lighting and sound equipment to be flown in and out. During the performance, all this complex scenery would be set in motion with hoists. 34 and 44 flying out. And this is something of a command post that's used to control the complex stage machinery. Displayed on the screens are all deployed mechanisms, from massive lifting devices to lightweight banks of lights. Everything the audience sees, every change of the scenery is controlled from here. Right now, I'm looking at a diagram that shows every actuator, every batten, every bank of light. And you can visually estimate the height of the target set piece, its velocity, acceleration, and of course location. We are standing now on one of the 7 staged lifts. All of them can go up and down, either simultaneously or at a different pace. The historic stage consists of 7 two-level stage lifts. They allow for the rapid changes of the set and the deck orientation. The deck can be flat or ballet when the stage floor is tilted 4 degrees. It can also become a terrace. To transform the ballet deck into the opera one, and vice versa, an operator needs only 10 minutes. Moreover, the sets can be assembled in underground halls located at the depth of almost 30 meters. One of the 5 tiers with a mounted set is lifted to the top right during the intermission. This is the so-called underground cloakroom of the Bolshoi Theatre, where the soft goods for the productions are stored. Powerful hoists lift the proper tier to the stage level in several minutes. All underground tiers are connected with service elevators that are used by staff to move props and costumes. It might seem today that the Bolshoi Theatre has always been this modern and technically equipped. But just several years ago, the principal theater stage of the country was at the brink of collapsing. The load-bearing structures of the main theater building haven't been altered since 1856. After the facility assessment started, workers and restorers realized that the foundation of the theater is split into several pieces. In 2005, the most extensive and risky step of reconstruction began. Simply restoring the foundation wasn't enough. To hold the theater building, it had to be built from scratch. Concrete slabs, rafts were put underneath the entire building, with 2,500 piles driven in through them. This made for a temporary foundation of the Bolshoi Theatre for the period of reconstruction. Rafts are structures that support all the walls of the theater along its perimeter. They are connected to the walls and between each other, and the piles are providing the rest for the rafts. Afterwards, the diaphragm walls were made in the foundation pit, and the 5-tier structure was erected. After this structure had settled on the diaphragm walls, the horizontal rafts and the piles were removed. Just a while ago, the place designated for the orchestra was nothing more than a 30-meter deep pit that had been dug out right underneath the theater square. Today, it's the Beethoven Hall, one of the most advanced concert venues. It's located only 80 meters away from the Teatralnaya subway station, and engineers were faced with almost impossible task of soundproofing the new hall. Designers, in fact, completed a very complicated task and implemented a new type of soundproofing that's really not used very often. It's called space in space. It means that there are several underground concrete structures that are nested inside one another and then interlayered with air or wallboard panels that really just act as soundproofing barriers. Located under the very roof of the Bolshoi Theatre are tailor shops. They are separated in two parts. Sewing professionals of one side make women's clothes from fine silk and chiffon. Tailors on the other side create men's costumes from heavyweight brocade and velvet.
After the reconstruction and reopening of the Bolshoi Theatre, its tailor shops were relocated here. The main reason behind it is basically making the sewing workshops closer to performing artists because it's very difficult for them to find free time in their very busy schedules. These are costumes for the Iolanta production. Here we can see men's costumes. All of them are made in the same set of colors, this light gray palette. These are historical reproductions with certain enchanting decorations.
The costume designer Yelena Zaitseva has been dressing the artists of Bolshoi Theatre for more than 10 years. Together with her team, she has used century-old sketches to recreate a lot of almost lost plays. Among them are Les Corsaires, a ballet to the music of Adolf Adam, and The Tsar's Bride, an opera by Rimsky-Korsakov. Right now, she's preparing for the premiere of Yolanta.
In our work, we go through several steps. First, we get sketches, then the scenic designer has a discussion with the artist about the fabrics. He suggests some samples and they come to a decision. Then the artist gives us some dye samples and we try to color the fabrics. Then the artist looks at them and approves or disapproves.
But if we talk about complex and large-scale stage sets, they are manufactured here in a huge production and storage facility located at the other end of Moscow. In a machine shop, metal billets weighing several tons each are used to make sturdy constructions that will become a base for all the sets. Here we see parts of the set for the opera Katrina Izmailova. Each one of these bulky structures weighs around 5 tons and is fastened together with more than 2,500 bolts. According to the vision of the production director, there should be at least 3 frames like this on the stage. I would say that it's like building a bridge in its significance, because we need to fit the maximum amount of scenery in a very, very small space. And the pieces of scenery should have the safety factor of 9, because there would be performers walking underneath. So the standards are really high, both in technical and in art terms. The imagination of the director might not stop at the set piece weighing 15 tons. The workers of the machine shop have already built huge palaces and theaters for the Bolshoi, and right now they are working on the full-size frame of a windmill for the ballet Don Quixote. The windmill means huge pulleys, as its work is based on belt drive. We do everything ourselves in our machine shop. The wooden pulleys, for example, were manufactured on the Flexicam. Almost all bulky and complex pieces of wooden scenery are produced on this completely automated machine. First, the designer creates a 3D model of the needed item. Then a computer program analyzes it and adjusts it for the machine. The only work the operator has to do is putting a wooden block in and pressing start. Next, pieces of scenery are veneered or sheathed with polycarbonate in a carpentry shop. Then the prop shop takes care of the texture. This is a vacuum forming machine, an indispensable helper in creating complex props. After we put these forms onto the table slides down. Then the heating elements slide over the plastic that was inserted in the beginning. The plastic becomes warm and soft. When it's soft enough, the heating elements move away. The table slides up and plastic stretches over the mold of the surface. When the molds are formed, special fans are turned on to cool the plastic. After that, the finished product can be removed from the machine. Not all of the scenery pieces and props are made from scratch. The underground facilities of the Bolshoi Theater store exhibits that were created using old and lost technologies. This unit has furniture and props for the play Boris Godunov. It's an opera production, a classical opera in a classical set. It can be called a hallmark of the Bolshoi. As you see, there are a lot of unusual props and furniture here. They are kept here for preservation reasons because a lot of these things are very old and very difficult to make. Like this horn here, it has metal inlets and embossments. It's a very tricky thing to create. At the same time, it's quite fragile and tends to lose its beauty with time. The theater stores about 100 of the most valuable exhibits. Fragile props have special conditions created for them. The temperature inside is always 18 degrees or higher. Tatiana Zabaluova has been managing the soft goods shop for many years. The majority of artwork for the Bolshoi Theater productions is created under her guidance.
Today we have the ballet Don Quixote here. According to the inventory, we have to make more than 70 pieces for this play, and about 80% of them are paintwork.
This is where the vision of the art director is put into life. The set pieces are painted on seamless fabric. First, the contour of the future pattern is stenciled onto the canvas. Then artists and colorists get down to painting. Sometimes the director's idea implies 30 meters long drapes hanging on the stage. Sewing curtains this big on a regular sewing machine is very difficult, and that's where the modern technology comes in handy. This machine can sew up pieces of fabric up to 17 meters wide and of unlimited length.
Of course, you can work on a regular machine too, but it would be much more difficult because the fabric is really heavy. Then there's also the human element. The regular machine can accidentally gather seams. But this machine prevents almost any shifting of material layers. And you can sew a very big piece of scenery in a much shorter time.
The finished scenery pieces go back to the assembly shop. It's not just a huge room, it's an exact copy of the historic stage of the Bolshoi Theatre. Its length, width, height, even the floor tilt of 4% is the same as in the Bolshoi. It means everything can be adjusted to perfectly fit the stage.
After
the piece is ready, an operator lowers a batten and the piece is attached to it with shackles and soft cords. The batten then flies the piece out. Every batten with the carrying capacity of 750 kilograms hoists 8 wire ropes. If a set piece weighs several tons, 2 battens are connected together and attached to a crossbar to form a triangular structure. Being flown out, it will distribute the load between battens. All scenery pieces created for the Bolshoi Theatre productions are stored at a special warehouse. 560 containers, including 88 of the so-called cassettes with drapery, and 472 containers of 2.5 tons each for bulky and rigid structures. Logistics here works like in the world's largest dockyards: automated lifting equipment, transport, inventories, and auditing. The warehouse is completely automated. Loading and unloading is controlled from the dispatch office. Containers are delivered by 2 30-meter-high stackers. It weighs 45 tons and moves along these upper and lower rail tracks. 2 rail tracks allow it to achieve a decent speed. Like when driving a car, 10 kilometers per hour. Now, when the loading is finished, containers are ready to be received in the theater. Early in the morning, a truck pulls over at the loading bay of the Bolshoi Theatre. Containers with scenery pieces are lowered onto one of the 5 underground levels. There they can be assembled for a production by theater staff. Right now, the historic stage of the Bolshoi is being prepared for yet another production by lighting technicians. They are setting up more than 30 battens and floodlights with the pinpoint precision. First, we look through scenery pieces. We discuss with the art director what would be the best way to light them up. If they are flat, how should we light them so that actors won't be casting shadows on them? Or maybe, on the contrary, so they will cast a shadow to create a certain atmosphere. For example, if we use lower light, like from the footlight here, it will create a very tense mood. A 20-meter-high metal structure with the weight of several tons that used to hold lighting instruments gave way to several movable mounts. They are fixed in the space over the stage. Every part of a batten can move independently in the vertical plane. Moreover, a controlled light curtain was designed specifically for the Bolshoi, and powerful color-changing floodlights are capable of creating a true rave of color. Every device creates its own effect. Certain gas discharge lamps, for example, give a cool light, and their intensity in certain colors is smaller. And modern LED devices allow us to produce a deep blue. Some LED devices look similar to a frying pan. They have a matrix of LEDs, each one of which can be controlled remotely. At the same time, we can rotate the beam. So there are a lot of effects, a lot of things that can be done with light. And with sound, too. The orchestra pit of the Bolshoi is a true transformer, and it can fit a whole symphony orchestra. More than 120 people. The orchestra pit consists of several platforms that can be placed at the same level with the auditorium or the stage. And its central part can go several floors down to the orchestra storage facilities. In the course of renovations, Experts had to restore the unique acoustics of the auditorium that was almost completely destroyed during the Soviet times. To give the Bolshoi back its sound, theater auditoriums were covered with 10,000 square meters of special textile. And that's not all. There are these soundboards, which are in the orchestra pit underneath the stage. They were taken care of and restored. Some parts of them were replaced, mostly made from special materials. For example, resonant spruce that's usually used to manufacture musical instruments. Tons of lighting and acoustic equipment, scenery, props, and hundreds of costumes. Dozens of services ensure the safety of the theater. In case of fire, the Bolshoi has a multi-level safety system. We are now in the main facility of the Bolshoi Theater Fire Department. Here we have a dispatcher console and an officer on duty who's in charge of the shift. Someone is on duty around the clock. Here we have the safety equipment of the firemen. Firefighter suits, tools, helmets, and compressed air apparatuses that allow the firefighters to work in smoky conditions. In case of fire, dispatcher console would display an alarm signal.
0862P86, main building sensors went off, first floor, orchestra pit.
Roger, P860862, checking out the orchestra pit, main building first floor. Every stairwell and corridor of the theater building is equipped with smoke ventilation systems. The interior decorations are made from special fire-resistant and non-toxic materials. And this is the safety curtain of the Bolshoi. It's more than 20 meters wide and about 18 meters high. In case of fire, the steel structure will drop automatically and cut off the auditorium from the stage in a matter of 30 seconds. We have a unique thing called smoke vent. When it's open, it lets the smoke out of the stage area, thus giving firemen a possibility to put out the fire. Just a few minutes left till the play begins. The orchestra is ready. The scenery is on the stage. The cue for the curtain to go up will sound any moment now. And every day goes on like this. Hundreds of people and thousands of machines breathe life into this incredible world called the Bolshoi Theater.